everybody. I found a really cool pattern to make, and I thought I'd share it with you. As you get a lot of scraps piled up, or build your stash, or however you do this. These are just 2.5-inch squares that I've pulled from my drawer that I keep over here next to me. And when I cut pieces, I try to get as much out of it as I can, and either cut them in 2.5 strips or 2.5-inch squares. So the pattern is super simple. It's just grabbing pieces and stitching them together, and you're going to do it in groups of 4. So you'll do a 4 patch, a 6 patch, and a 10 patch. So I'm just going to show you how to put them together, and it doesn't matter where they go together, but for some of you it might matter. So I'm going to start stitching, and I'll try not to keep the colors or the fabrics the same, obviously. And you're going to need, it's one block that you're actually going to be making, and from that block you just repeat it. And you could, they don't show this on the pattern, but the more I look at it, you could just twist it and turn it. The pattern is available to purchase. It's not mine. It's also not hard to look at it and know it's 2.5 inches. I just Googled patterns for 2.5-inch squares, and this popped up, and I mean, the math isn't that hard. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So I just started thinking about what I wanted to do, and I knew I had the 2.5-inch squares, so just thought we'd share it. It's common knowledge. I mean, it's not super taxing to make one of these. All right, so when you get your pieces together, I cheat a little bit, and I have chain stitched here. So I'm just gonna open it up and put my 4 patch together. You need 1 4 patch, so this is my 1 4 patch put together. And doesn't really matter how you flip your seams. It makes no difference whatsoever, because what you're going to do is put a border on it almost immediately, and these seams that you're making here don't have to interlock with anything. And the rest is just like, I can do this as a 6 patch, or I can do it as a 10 patch, meaning there's 5 on each side. And I'm not paying any attention to color. Now I realize that some of you are not able to do that, and that's fine. If you need to have something more color coordinated and worked on that way, that's fine. I don't. I use the excuse that I'm donating it. It's going to be somebody else's problem. So I just kind of leave it at that. All right, so here's my 1 4 patch. Again, it's not even ironed, it's just finger pressed. Now I'll just start putting pieces together again, and it really doesn't matter what you do. I have flannels mixed in here with regular fabric. The pattern shows that you can use whites. And when I say white, I mean like regular white, but it's not a requirement. Let's see, pink. I try to save my lighter colors like that for other projects that I can use them in. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this, and it's just you adding pieces together is really all this is. So let me show you what it'll look like and how many of them you have to make. So let me see what I've got here. So this is a 4 patch. I'm going to add one of these on it, and this will be 6, and you need to have, well, I guess it's just the 10 patches after this. 1 2 3, yeah. So I'll just keep sewing these together. per block, it's going to be 1 4 patch and 5 2 squares by 10. So I'm going to work on that and then I'll come back to you guys. Okay, so not sure what I told you before, but you need 3 10 patches. It's 2 by 5s, so you need 3 of those. You need 1 2 by 3, so that was in a 6 patch, and a 4 patch. And I've pre-cut my pieces to go with this, just to make life easier for me. I have some white pieces, and this is a really light lavender with hearts on it. Just to use it up is really all I'm going to do. Okay, so you sew this this white piece is 2.5 by 4.5, and you sew that to one of the sides of the 4 patch, and it really doesn't matter which one. And you can iron all this stuff if you want to. I do it later, mostly because I'm too lazy to get up and do it now. I mean, there could be another reason, but that's probably it. And then I'm going to take one of these 2 by 10s. When I mean 2 by 10s, I mean 2 rows with 5 in it. That's 10. And this is a 10.5 inch by 2.5 inch piece, and I'm going to sew it down one side. Again, it doesn't matter what side you want to do it. I like to sew it with the smooth piece on the bottom and the seamed piece on top, so that I can adjust where my seams go by holding it down. Again, if you're new to this quilting and you need to pin, by all means pin, but don't sew over your pins. It's not good for your machine. Okay, and then I'm going to take my 6-inch piece and sew this same way. This is 2.5 by 6.5. Everything's a 1/2 inch extra because your seam is 1/4 inch, and that is a 1/4 inch on each side, which you have, and it'll finish to whatever your measurement is. So if this is 6.5, it'll finish to 6 inches once you get all 4 sides sewn together. All right, now I have to look and see what I've got. All right, so I have this 2 by 10 over here. I have this one, which actually goes this way. And okay, so I'm going to sew all of these pieces to one side of the 2.5 by 10.5. And I've never made this before. I'm doing this the first time with you. I'm literally looking at a pattern and seeing how it gets laid out. This is just one block. I haven't measured it, so I'm going to say, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's going to be another big one. It'll be 16.5 inches. Each block will be. So you're not going to need many to make a quilt. I think the last time I did a 16.5 inch block, I only needed like 4 of them. So, but this goes together really quick once you have your stuff cut. Like I said, I have a drawer that has nothing but 2.5 inch squares in it. Okay, now I'm going to lay it out the way the pattern has it laid out so that you can see where all the pieces go. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together. All right, so I have a 10, oh, you're not going to be able to see it. Well, there's this 10.5 inch piece. There's this piece. This piece comes down here. Let's see if I can't lay it out. It goes like that. This one goes this way. Like I said, I'm figuring out how to put this together myself. So this goes, nope. This one goes like this. I'm missing a piece here. This is another. This is 6. I need a chunk right here. All right, so it's another 2.5 inch. It's another 4 patch. So let me put that 4 patch together real quick. And some people could say, well, why don't you buy the pattern? Well, because it's 2.5 inch squares, and like I said earlier, the math isn't that difficult to do. It's just reading the pattern for the first time. Once you make it for the first time, it's pretty easy to keep putting it together. You're just repeating it over and over. The hardest thing is just putting together this part, making sure you have your 4 patches together. So if I wasn't making a video, I'd probably just sit and piece a bunch of those together and then go from there. So, all right, so now I have this piece has to go with this piece. I don't know what it's going to look like, honestly. I'm just going to sew it together and we'll figure it out. It's highly possible I made a mistake somewhere, which is perfectly okay. All right, so I have this, and then this goes this way. So that's a 10.5 inch piece sewing on this side right here. Let's see, get this together. I like it because it's a scrap user, and I have tons of scraps that I need to use up. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I get tired of making the same quilts over and over again, so I'd like something a little different. Okay, so this goes this way, and then this goes this way. So you can see it kind of sections itself off. Turn this because the bigger piece is on the bottom and I want the feed dogs to smooth it out for me. So we're going to do that. Okay. It does go together fast, so I like that. And then you can put a border all the way around it. Any size. It doesn't matter. There's no quilt police that are going to come and tell you it has to be 2.5 inches. It has to be this and the other. Nobody really cares as long as it's to your liking. All right, so now I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together. And that'll be that. Then these 2 pieces go this way and get sewn together. So you'll have a couple of seams that meet. It's literally going to be this border right here, and you'll just flip them so that they sink in together. And that's it. The quilt block is done. It needs a really good pressing, but you can press as you go. Like I said, I'm lazy. I don't do that. I could if I wanted to. The ironing board is literally right there. You could see it on the video. But getting up and down and walking around my computer, which is now sitting over here in a chair, is in the ideal position. So I just iron it all later when I'm done. So now, let me move this so you can see it better. I get this out of the way. And just slide that back there. Okay, clip this. And here it is. Ta-da! That's the block. Okay. It's it's quite big. It is 16.5 inches wide by 16.5 inches. It needs good ironing. Doing it differently, I might, and this is a big might, go ahead and iron it as I go. But for you just to see what the pattern is like, there it is. It used up quite a bit of scraps. All of these are things I need to get rid of. And in my cutting, I have an extra piece of this that'll go into the next block. I'll continue to work on this, probably not today, and get it done and lay it out for you. And I'll be pulling threads off of this thing forever. And then get it up on the machine to get it quilted one of these days. So yeah, that was it. It was pretty quick. It really took me 15 minutes, to put this together. So like I said, this is a good quilt project. If you've got a lot of scraps to do and you want to make a bunch of them, you can make a bunch of these blocks and then just, I think if you do 3 of them, 3 by 3, that would be 9. That's going to be probably like a 38 by 48 quilt. And so what I would do is take another piece of one of these, colors, white or whatever I have, and put that as sashing here. Again, 2.5 inches by 16.5, and sew the other blocks to it. And you don't have to keep them in the same order. They do on the pattern, which is kind of boring. I think I would turn it each time I did it, just so that gives a little dimension to the quilt. But that's just me. Okay, hope it helped.